Welcome back to another video. We are going to be completing the rest of the tasks that are required for your spreadsheet section of your SBA. So what I'm going to start with is an advanced filter. So one of the requirements is that you complete a filter that is based on a given criteria. So based on my information here, I am going to filter information to find, let's say, a category of membership and whether or not they are due refund. One of the type of a category of membership and whether or not they are due a refund. So I'm going to first thing, the headings. So once you select the headings, you're going to copy. And you can decide if you want it on another sheet or on the same sheet. So I am going to do mine on the same sheet here. So I'm going to paste it below here. I am now going to enter my criteria. So I'm going to search for and whether or not they are due a refund. So these are the criteria that I'm working with. You could also work with criteria that something is greater than or less than and so on, and you just enter the criteria below the appropriate heading. So after that, I am now going to select the option that says data. I should select all the information in the table first. Then select advanced. So it says filter the list in place. So this is the list that we are going to filter from, right? I am going to copy to another location. So I select that option. I am now going to select the criteria range. So all you need to do is to click on this arrow, and then you're able to move within your worksheet. So I'm going to select the heading along with the criteria. So that will state the criteria range. Now I'm going to select the option that says copy to, because we selected copy to another location. So I'm going to select the area in which I want the information to be filtered in. So I'm just going to select a range of cells in this area. Doesn't have to be as much, but you can decide. And then you select OK. Alright, so this is the filtered information right here. So only 2 persons based on that category of membership is due a refund. When you're finished, if you want, you can go ahead and check the information for yourself to verify. But once you do the correct steps, then the information is correct. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create a pivot chart. So to create the pivot chart, I am going to select all of the information in the main table again. I'm going to go to Insert and then select Pivot Chart and Table. So I'm selecting this option. Alright, so it says select a table or range. We already did that. So we're going to ensure that this option is ticked, new worksheet, because we want to place the pivot table on a new worksheet. So I'm going to select OK. Now for a pivot chart, you have to select the criteria, right? So on the right of your screen, you are able to select the criteria that is needed for that pivot chart. This is usually given in the instructions, right? So for mine, I am just going to select category of membership. So I want to see the different categories, and then I am going to also select this option that says membership fee. So it's gonna show me now the sum of the membership fee for each category of membership. So it will calculate all of the membership fee for Gen X, Gen Z, and males, and then give me a summary of that information. That is what the pivot table does. It gives you a summary of information. And just like any other chart, you're able to give it a title. So I'm just going to say sum of membership fee. Alright. Alright, so since we would have created this chart, we can also rename this worksheet and call it pivot sheet. Alright, so since we are creating charts, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to create additional charts. I will do a pie chart and a bar chart, but before I do that, I'm going to do some functions that I would not have covered in the previous video. So I'm going to go back to data sheet, and I'm just going to do a count if. So let me create a count if right here. Alright, so I'm going to count the number of the category of membership to see how many persons are in each category. Alright, so let me label it first. Alright, so that would be the range that we are counting to find the information, and then I'm going to put the criteria. So the criteria as usual is in quotation. Alright, so that is saying that I have 9. I'm going to count the other category. And all I'm going to do is to autofill here, but I'm going to change the criteria. Same thing again, autofill, change the criteria. Alright, and of course you could put a label here. Alright, so that's COUNTIF. Another function I want to mention, even though I did maximum, minimum, average already, just want to mention, let's say for example, you did not want to find the average, or you want to find the average of this column and this column. So if that's what you want and they are not adjacent, you would use a comma instead of using the colon. Alright, so for example, let's find the average of membership fee and discounted price. So we would say equal membership fee, equal average comma, and then here close bracket, enter. Alright, so this is showing me the average of this amount and this amount. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to now create two charts, just so you get a feel of how to create the different charts. So I'm going to use this information right here to create a pie chart. And you can select 2D or 3D depending on what you prefer or what is required based on your SBA. Now for the chart, you can add different elements. You can choose the layout that you prefer. Sometimes this is also given. So I am going to select the option that allows me to show the percentages because I want to see the percentage. Right? The chart title is already there, but if they are not there, you would come to this section that says add chart element and enter or select the elements that you want on the chart. So ensure that your chart has a title and legend. Alright, so I'm going to name this chart Alright, and I could also do some other edits. So I could probably change the colors to what I want. So once you click in the box, you're able to now select formats. And you can change the shape fill to whatever suits you. Alright. Alright, so I am now going to move this chart to another sheet. So once the chart is selected, you select chart design and then you move chart and select new sheet. You can now name that sheet and I'm going to call it pie chart. Select OK. And your chart is now on its own sheet. So I'm going to select a chart now where the information for the chart are in non-adjacent cells. So these were adjacent cells, right, because they're right next to each other. So we're going to create a chart that shows that the information is not adjacent to each other. So for this chart, I'm going to select member ID. Once you select the first range, you're going to hold down the Control key and then you select the other range that is required. Alright, so now both are selected. All I need to do is to choose the chart that I want. So I'm going to select a 3D column. Once again, I am going to move to a new sheet. Calling this one column. Alright, so my legend is missing, so I'm going to add that information. Alright, so as you can see, this is just giving me 1 because all the bars are the same color. So once I start changing the color of the bars, then you realize that I'll have different information. Alright, so once you change the color of the bars, then each will have its own legend. So you can go through and make the changes, and then each will show its own label here, right? And remember to add your title and so on. So that would be it for your spreadsheet section of your SBA. All the information is there. So the only thing that will be left for you to do is to transfer your information to your database. So usually it is required to transfer the data sheet, or sorry, the worksheet that has the bulk of the information. However, in doing so, it's also required that you only transfer just the data within the table itself. So I'm going to show you the data that is in the table, and I'm going to remove the rest of the data that will not be needed for database. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is to make a copy of the sheet so that we don't lose the information that we have in the. So I'm making a copy of this sheet, which is the data sheet. Data sheet, create copy, right? And I'm just going to call it data transfer. Right? So on the data transfer sheet, I am going to remove all of these excess information. Right? And this would be transferred to database, and that will be done in another video that I will put the link or card up here so you can see how that is done in that video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like these.